go to our YouTube channel for more recipes. Please subscribe. Today we are making Filet Mignon, and we have a special guest, Victor Martinez, the one and only. This is Lola and Loli. They're my dogs. They love when I cook. They get really excited, and I had to put them in the room, so they really didn't like it. But you notice, for their health, I have to be sure to give them dog food. It agrees with them, and they're healthy, they're happy. Say hello. The ingredients we're going to need for our recipe today are filet mignon, potatoes, asparagus, olive oil, salt, and pepper. You take the steaks out an hour before you cook the steaks. You want the steaks to be room temperature. The first thing you do with the potatoes, you wash the potatoes. Okay, right now what we're doing, we're peeling the potatoes. I have the water boiling. I want the potatoes to be almost like French fries. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna let the water boil, and after the water boils, we are going to cook the potatoes for 20 minutes. We're gonna give them another wash real quick before I cut them. So we're gonna slice each potato like 3 pieces, 6 in each potato. With the asparagus, I like to take out 1/3 of the asparagus out. The asparagus, what we're going to do, we're just gonna wash them. We are going to sprinkle 2 tablespoons of olive oil right on the asparagus. 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. And we're just gonna bake them on 450. And we left some water on it. So together with the sea salt and the olive oil, they're gonna be almost perfect steam, and they're gonna be nice and crispy. The water is boiling. I'm gonna put the potatoes inside. We want the potatoes to get soft. We don't want it to boil. Right now we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 1 teaspoon of sea salt. We're gonna give it a mix, and we're gonna keep an eye on them. I think it can be 15-20 minutes. What I like to do, I like to put olive oil on the steak. So the main thing, I just want the steak to absorb the olive oil. Between 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're putting some salt on the steak. I don't want to overdo it with the salt. I would like to let people add their own salt, what they like. We're gonna put some pepper, black pepper. We're turning the heat on high. The pan you cook the steak with, you want it a really good, thick, almost iron pan. This can hold a lot of heat. We don't want the potatoes to be really soft, so I'm taking them off right now. I would like to put them inside the refrigerator for like 30 minutes to kind of take out the steam out, because I definitely want them to be crispy. You see, this is the sound you want the steak to make. That means the pan is hot, so you want the steak to get a nice sizzle. We're gonna let it cook for 2 minutes in each side, then we're gonna put it in the oven, 450, 10 to 12 minutes. Wow, that's a beautiful color. That's the color you want your sear to be. Smells good. Now we're gonna give it another 2 minutes, and then we're gonna put it in the oven. It's been another 2 minutes. The steaks look really good. They have a nice sear. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna put it in the oven. The oven is 450. We're gonna put it there for 10 minutes. So we have the potatoes from the refrigerator. They cool down. We're gonna set them up side by side. You see, we didn't boil them all the way, so they still have the shape. We're gonna pour a little bit of olive oil on the top. Sprinkle some salt right on the top. Not much, just you want the flavor. This is how the potatoes should look. You see, it's nice and golden. This is a French fry with very little oil. The steak is ready. It looks delicious. asparagus.
Oh, ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that beauty. This is beautiful, Steve. I mean, presentation. I mean, what cut of steak are we having? I see we have potatoes, roasted potatoes, asparagus, cooked just the way I like them. Just by looking at them, I can only imagine they have the right texture. But when you cook the steak right and you have a good quality steak, there's no reason in disguising it with ketchup, all these steak sauce, all this other stuff. That's, you can do that when it's a bad steak.
Yes. You know, the thing is, I only use olive oil, I use salt, and a little bit of pepper, and that's it. The key is to get a nice sear, and after you get the sear, you put it in an oven, you bake it. You know, with the Filet Mignon, it's hard because it's a thick steak.
Yes.
You don't know, you like it medium. So no, you know what I mean? So it takes a little more time to cook it.
Yeah, just to be safe in restaurants, I always point out to them, because I've seen it, and that's because I saw it in Anthony Bourdain. I know you're a fan like I am.
Oh, yeah, man.
And it was, I always tell them, listen, just butterfly my filet.
That's it, you see, that's smart. That is smart, because most of the restaurants, because when the steak is thick, it's hard to cook it properly, but when you cut in the middle and you cook it, then you got it right, you know, so. But what I want to tell you, Victor, and I want people to know, is like once you had a vision, you had a dream, and you made it a reality. You were not a bodybuilder your whole life. You were born to a bodybuilder. So I want to know how you did it.
A lot of factors fell into it. One of them was friends of mine when I first took my last trip when I was a kid. I was 16. My last trip to the Dominican Republic. So obviously I returned years later. But they saw I like, you know, sports. They saw I like fitness. They saw I like working out. They saw I liked any kind of physical challenge. And they saw me fighting. They said, listen, we have a place for you to take out your aggression. And it was a gym. It was a gymnasium. It wasn't.
So everything started in Dominican Republic?
Yeah, that was the first initial introduction.
So you got involved with bodybuilding when you were 16?
16. And again, did I say I was gonna be only a bodybuilder? Not at all. I was taken under his wing, Steve Dickerson.
Okay.
Which is Chris Dickerson, Mr. Olympia 1982.
Oh yeah, he sounds
his cousin.
Okay.
You know, 82, 83, guys quote me on that, but it's definitely 82, 83.
Right.
And his cousin saw me compete when I was 19. My first show
The first show was 19?
Yeah, first show out of high school. You know, first time I ever planned something a year ahead. I was preparing for this show a year ahead. See, I kept going to the gym. I did my first bodybuilding show at 19, Elmo Santiago. You know, rest in peace. He used to hold one of the few shows in the Bronx. And a lot of guys that became pro actually did his show. Caprice Murray, Ronnie St. Cloud, Victor Martinez. So he did have a good cast of guys that did his shows who went on to become pro. My main goal at going to college, BMCC, where a lot of shows were held.
Yeah, downtown.
Yeah. My main goal was to be a firefighter.
Okay.
So I took the exam.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
No, it was. I always wanted to be a firefighter, and it was. I think one of those things was one of my favorite pros was a firefighter.
Okay.
Porter Cottrell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a firefighter and a bodybuilder. And I said, well, I can do this too.
If he can do it, you can do it. You
Yeah,
have an
I
example.
could do this too, you know. And then at the same time, I knew I could be a bodybuilder because now I saw Lee Haney in '91.
Oh yeah.
You know, competing with Dorian Yates. You know, he kicked Dorian Yates' butt.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Lee Haney was an Olympia for how many? 8 times?
Yeah, 8 times Mr. Olympia. I look at pictures even further back. I see Sergio Oliva. Now it became even more real because now you have this guy who's Cuban, left a communist country, is in this country, and made bodybuilding his primary, you know, career. So it started becoming real for me that I can do this. So took the exam. Unfortunately, that year, Ronnie St. Cloud did get in. But that year, 90,000 people took the exam. They only hired 1,000 people. But in the midst of getting ready for the physical exam, this is the twist to it.
Right.
Victor Martinez looks, he goes, wait a minute. You didn't get into the exam, the physical? I see your face. It looks tight, it looks drawn. He goes, strip down, let me see what you look like. Just remember, because for the fire exam, you have to do the step mill, you have to do it with the jacket, you have to do the sprinting. Yeah. We were doing basically CrossFit before CrossFit was the brand name CrossFit.
Right.
It was multi-fit, you know, multi-exercise, whatever they called it, but it wasn't called CrossFit, it wasn't a brand name. So he looks at me, he goes, oh my God.
You saw the vision.
This is crazy. Look at this, look at that. And he goes, I don't know where he pulled it out. He had it in his back pocket somewhere. I think he was walking around with the poster. And he takes it out, he rolls it out. He goes, look, the Junior Nationals, Junior USA are coming to New Jersey.
Oh my God.
And the only reason I'm so interested in this is because it's happening in my high school. This is old high school in Hackensack.
Wow.
And he was way, I tell you, when I tell you he was way more excited than me because I still had the firefighter in my head. He's looking at the show and I go, you know what, Vic, sure, you know, let's do it. How many weeks is it? He goes, it's about 6 weeks away. I go, 6 weeks? Usually takes us about 12 weeks to do a show. He goes, no, well, you've been training, you're right there. Got on that stage, Steve. I swear it was one of these wins to remember because when I competed in many shows, you all come out, you get compared, you do the first call out, you get compared some more, and you keep getting compared until the judges finally kind of, you know, really judge everybody to the to the last detail. They only had me do quarter turns. And they pull me to the side. I'm not used to this. I look at my trainer from the stage. I go,
like, what's going on?
Yeah, he goes like this, kind of like you killed it.
Oh.
You know, but I'm thinking you're done. So I'm just kind of standing there, and obviously I won the class without even posing.
How old were you then?
You know, that was 2000. I was 25. I was 25. It was 2000, and now the overall's coming up. Overall now is the big one. You know. Now I'm backstage. I remember looking over at the heavyweight guy. I was light heavyweight.
What was your weight then?
I was weighing about 198. So I look over and I see Art Atwood, rest in peace, great guy, you know. But this guy's shape, Steve, when I tell you, he looked like his skin was plastic and you can see every detail under.
God, very lean.
Lean, very low muscle, condition, and he goes, you gonna pump? And I said, no, are you gonna pump? I said, no. He goes, all right. He goes, you know, we're gonna fight it out. And I said, well, the best man win, but dude, you look crazy, man. And he goes, all right, well, we go on to the overall. He won.
Wow.
When it's bodybuilding, you don't get to have that choice of life and bodybuilding. It has to be one or the other. It's sacrifice. So the sacrificing part is what people misconstrue. They think you can miss a day. Listen, you know what? If you miss that day in the gym, if you screw up on your diet, you know, just don't blame it, you know, on the judges or why you lost, you know. Just know that.
Don't take the responsibility.
Yeah, know what you didn't do and know why you didn't get it, you know. Simple as that. Yeah. So I'm having fun. I have a very beautiful girlfriend. I could say that, my wife, you know, it's so long goes.
Yeah.
21 years ago, baby, so please. You know, and she didn't have the same vision. She didn't have the same, you know, drive for what I was doing, you know. So I always tell people, when you have a relationship and you're bodybuilding, you gotta have somebody who's gonna
Support you. Yeah.
me.
And what gym you used to? Your first gym you were training was where?
Well, that was '93. By then, I had found Johnny Lat's gym.
Oh yeah, 17th Street.
17th
17th
Street. Oh.
Street. Wow.
Steve, when I tell you that Johnny Lat's gym was ahead of his time.
Oh man.
One, because I remember when he opened the gym, he opened with one rack of dumbbells, one leg press. He had one of everything, but not all of it, obviously. It was $150 for the year.
Wow, $150.
$150 for the year. Everybody and anybody that went there either loved working out, was into working out, was a bodybuilder, was trying to become a bodybuilder, but it was the crossroads of fitness because it was a block away from Better Bodies. Johnny just cared about, you know what, come to my gym. Eventually,
Oh, he was a really nice guy.
he was cracking $1 million in this
Wow,
gym.
I didn't know that.
Even though his gym membership was $150,
Right.
it was so cheap, it's so little, and got to a point I was like, Johnny, listen, I love to pay you, but I can't afford this month, which was at that time, monthly was $20 a month. He goes, Victor, you are a bodybuilder. You belong here.
Oh my God.
If anybody has to be here is you. You know what? Don't pay me when you get a job, you can pay me later.
That's incredible, man.
Nobody does that these days, you know? Nobody does that until either you become something already, become someone, and then they want to write off, you know,
Yeah, they
the
want to.
fame,
What are you gonna
you
do
know?
for me? What are you gonna do for me?
Yeah, yes.
But let me tell you, man, one of my best moments it was when you won the Arnolds in in Cleveland, Ohio. What year was that?
2007.
2007.
Sure.
Let me tell you, man, I was there and you won the show. I just, you know, because usually you root for teams, you know, and you don't know anybody. I mean, it's a team, but like rooting for you, you know what I mean, and see you winning the whole show.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was just like one of the best moments in my life.
It was the most archived show I had. I think I even brought a photographer. He was supposed to do a book on it because we did myself being painted. We did some background stuff. We did Francisco. I wish I could remember his last name. And Francisco Rodriguez, photographer, gave me those pictures, you know? We did a timeline leading to the show. And as much as I won, as much as I've done this all over, every show I always treated with the respect of I could possibly lose because I hope I did everything, you know? I know being positive and saying you're gonna win and win and win, but one thing, Steve, is I don't like setting myself up. Great expectations lead to great disappointments. And I said, you know what? I trained to win, I'm here to win, and but I'm not gonna say, you know, I'm walking around like I am gonna win. And I won, and I remember a lot of people came from Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I remember you brought the flag in hand, and
First
Arnold was
time, I think
there.
it was the first time, only time they gave me the flag. I think since they gave it to me one way, which was the right way, but I flipped it, and it became the wrong way. So I told you, you need to Photoshop that because the blue has to go here and the red here. And I remember shaking every judge's hand. I never done that. I never seen anybody done that, but it was just something that I'm just so happy. You know, it's like shake your hand. I mean, you did your job. You did your hard job. You know, I'm competing with top guys.
Oh, I mean, so much. I mean, people don't realize the detail goes into bodybuilding. You know, it's not only to have big muscles. It's you know, like how you present it.
Yeah, my support system came through Steve Dickerson, you know, my trainer Victor Munoz, a few friends here and there, you know, Eva's my first sponsor, still my sponsor to this day, you know. I have to say it's you know, I mean, nothing I expected. I didn't expect any of it, you know. So I you know, I take it in as, you know, it's still something that was given, and I still accept it with joy every year that goes by. You know,
He's
so
giving.
yeah.
But the injury you had on your knee, I remember. I saw it was a video or something. It looked pretty tough. How long did it take to recover
It was
from
bad.
that?
It was bad. I remember I worked out. Actually, I ate at Eva's that day. I felt the pinch on my knee, and I said, "Let me stretch today. Let me stretch real good." And I need to do legs. It was a Tuesday. And I said, "Let me do legs." I went to Steel Gym at the time.
That was on 23rd Street.
23rd Street. I did legs. I had a great pump. I remember I didn't go too deep. I did enough weights where I could just let me stimulate the muscle enough. You know, so it didn't tear, but it was the warning of. I always tell people, you feel a pinch, you feel a pull, you feel an ache.
It's a warning.
Yeah, your body's talking to you. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. So I did not get injured in the gym. Now I get in the car, I drive uptown, I double parked. You know, I go into this pharmacy. I remember somebody said they're giving out tickets, and I run out like impulse. I run out.
That's New York for you, you know. You always gotta watch about that ticket.
Yeah, I run out, man, and I remember when you run as a bodybuilder. That's why I tell people when you're a bodybuilder, like competitive,
Right.
not for yourself. When you do bodybuilding yourself, you can do other sports, you can do other things because you're not this overweight person by 50, 60 pounds of you know,
Muscle.
exaggerated muscle.
Right.
Yeah, I'm exaggerated muscle. I call it because I'm competitive. So now when you run, at the time I was 270, I run and I remember just feeling that one step and it felt like somebody came from behind me and it kind of
Took your knee out.
took my knee out. And I remember I fell, it tore so easily because I didn't remember the tear. I just remember just me kind of falling back. I hit the back of my head.
Wow.
And I'm on the floor. I look like the guy that fell off a rooftop, you know, and the only thing I could do is I want to see who the hell's behind me. And I just kind of rolled over and there's nobody behind me. But it was so painful that I remember straightening out my leg. I was able to force it by putting it next to the brakes and straighten it out. And now I close the door and I'm like taking deep breaths. And I'm like, what's my next move? What's my next move? I'm like, well, I'm right next to the pharmacy. I call the pharmacist and I said, Joe, I think I tore my knee. You have to give me something for pain, you know? It gives me a strong painkiller. Next thing I do is let me call somebody to help me.
Help you out.
So I call my brother, you know, I wait like 5-10 minutes because I'm still collecting myself. Oh man, I'm busy. Calm down, come downstairs, come down, you bastard. I cursed him out so bad, I think he came right downstairs.
You realize like when you bent to
Yeah, I picked him up. Now when I pick him up, next call, what hospital am I gonna go to?
Because you need an expert.
I need an expert, you know. So I remember at the time, it was 2007. I just won the Arnold. Going into 2008, I was helping a few guys from the New York Giants.
Oh, wow.
And one of them, I remember, just came out for injury. And I asked him, listen, I feel like I tore my knee or my quad, I don't know what, something. He said, listen, whatever you do, don't go anywhere else but HSS, Hospital for Special Surgery.
Where's that at?
That's on 70th and I believe, not First? York.
Yeah.
They did the x-ray, it's completely torn off the bone. First thing they do is blood work that you can, you know, go through the actual, you know, surgery. And it was, I have to say it was a long road because every moment.
But you didn't give up.
No, I didn't give up.
And look, you look amazing right now. I mean,
Steve, it was, I think the only person I think that, you know, for every man's loss, there's another man's gain, you know. So I was destined to win the Arnold and the Olympia Prize that year. But Dexter actually reaped for the benefit of me being injured.
right.
You know, and, so it was one of those years that I said, you know what, the doctor said go to physical therapy twice a week. I made contact with the physical therapist, Brian Gurney. He's got his own business now. That's how great he is.
Wow.
I said, Brian, listen, you're only paying for twice a week. Can you see me 6 days a week?
That's Victor.
Yeah. Why not go, you know?
So is that like,
yeah, 2 days a week.
You know,
Listen,
yeah.
I want 6. He goes, come to my house, we'll do some stuff in my house. If I could get to your house, I could. And we start the journey, we start the process. This happened in February. My goal was to start squatting by May.
Wow.
It was, you know, I mean, and another doctor actually helped me. Man, I hate that I can't remember sometimes the name because, you know, I haven't seen these doctors in so long. But he started doing electrical stimulation.
Right.
So the aggressiveness of my recovery was not just me healing
So
myself.
1 month did you got injured?
February.
February, and on May you're doing squats?
In May, I started squatting at least 1/4.
Wow.
By the end of May, I was doing 1 plate. A year later, thanks to Brian and everybody that supported me, you know, the small trips I
And
made
your
to
will
Eva,
too.
I stepped on stage on the Arnold again.
Wow.
You know,
1 year later. And another thing I think a lot of people don't understand is that, you know, when you deplete the carbs right before the show.
yes. That's
Can
what
you
we-
explain a little bit of that?
Oh, that's depleting week. That's
Because not many people know about this, you know what I mean?
No, they don't know about it. They see the finished product.
And if you miss it, you know, it's just like, you know, I've been around you for many years, listening to you and stuff, and I know how tough it is. So
No, people see the finished product, and you asking that question, most people just say, hey, oh, you look good. Hey, you know what? You could have won. You could have placed higher. You could have. You should have. You listen. It's this part of the low carb, the depletion.
and how many
know,
days you do it before the show?
It depends where you are. If you're getting in shape, you can just kind of keep your carbs at a certain level. If you're not getting in shape, then you have to carb cycle. And carb cycling is you have 2 days of high carbs, you're happy, you're great, you're having great workouts. But then you're followed by 3-4 days of low carbs, which is less carbs than most babies eat. You know,
Wow.
you're eating less carbs than a baby, and now you have to train just as hard. You have to maneuver your way around the city. You have to drive. You know, you have to deal with people. Yeah.
So you take out the carbs for a few days, and after that you gotta
Usually-
fill up again. So that's like a
Yeah.
lot of people mess up with that, I think.
They mess up, one, because they deplete for too long.
Okay.
If you deplete for too long, your body goes on this survival mode. Like you can go without food longer than sleep. You know,
Right.
that's just a survival body thing. You know, you can go without food, but with carbs, the longer you keep them out your body, people don't realize the longer it is for your body to now get reintroduced to the carbs. So you always want to have 3 to maybe 4 days of low carbs before you start carving up for the show.
Right.
Would you-
Because you know, if you don't get the carbs in time, then your
Yes.
body looks flat.
It's gonna look flat, and I always tell people do a little bit Wednesday, you know. So my depletion was always starting on Sunday. So you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You know, 3 days of pushing hard. Wednesday, depending on how you look, you can have one more day, or if you look good enough, you can start loading late Wednesday night. If you're still a little off, let's move it up to Thursday. You know, but now when you eat something Thursday, and you eat something on Friday, you're hoping for it to show up by Saturday.
Right. It's like almost it has to, you know, it's that sort of those how do you call it, like I don't know how to call it, like you pray,
Yeah.
like everything is gonna show up on time.
You hope and pray that it happens that way, but nothing is written in stone. Your body, it can react differently. You know, that's why a lot of people miscalculate their carb eating. They don't start eating carbs until either Thursday or Friday. And that's why they always have this thing where they lost the show on Saturday and they look themselves on Sunday and they look, this is how I should have looked on Saturday.
I heard that many times.
I said, well, just move it up a day. Make believe your show is on Friday, you know, so you can do all of that for Friday, so Saturday will be your Sunday.
So one more thing I want to tell people is like, being a bodybuilder, you travel the world.
Oh, man.
I know you just came back from Italy.
Yes.
So that's a benefit.
Yes, it's definitely a benefit. It brings you closer to, people say it's a cult, it's a movement, it's a lifestyle. Listen, it brings you closer to a lot of people that love doing what you do.
Yeah.
You know, and you get to meet them speaking languages that sometimes you never even heard of. You know, so I gotta thank, you know, definitely IFBB for hosting shows in these countries. At the time, MHP, I have to thank them because MHP, aside from bodybuilding, you know, they flew me to many places all over the world to represent the company. When there was no shows, it was representing the company. And MHP sent me to some corners in Russia that people never even heard of, you know, and corners in China and places in China and towns in Brazil, towns in Mexico that I don't even think they even find them on Waze or
I mean,
Google.
bodybuilding is a niche. When people love bodybuilding and they follow the bodybuilders.
Yes.
You know, so when you probably go there, they treat you royal.
Oh man, I mean, we have this thing where they call it, you know, the Caribbean hospitality, you know. People go to the Caribbean, and it has to do with people not having so much, so when you have people from anywhere, you know, you'll go, they'll treat you like you're famous in whatever you do, and that's just the way they are.
It is, yeah.
The people I met in Krasnodar, Russia, and Kirov, and Ufa, and of course the big cities, you know, Moscow and St. Petersburg. Boris, you know, he helped me out, come back from his broken arm injury. These guys took care of me for a full month, fed me like 7 meals a day. I said, guys, I do 6. No, you need to get back.
Wow.
7 meals, this is what you're doing. So Russia was a whole other, you know, they do have that charm of being very hospitable. Yeah. Greece, I remember I went to Greece 1 year. They have this, I didn't know they had siesta as hardcore as they do in Spain.
Yeah, they do.
In Greece, they close the business at 12.
3 to 6,
it was like 12 or 1 o'clock.
That's it.
Everything was closed. And I swear, I think things were gonna open at 5 or 6.
Yeah, they open late.
Oh my God, I was so hungry, and I'm going around town, and I remember I sat in this car. No, and I see this lady hanging out, you know, these half doors that they have, that you can open up half the door, and you can kind of hang out and just kind of look out, and I tell this lady, man, you know, and she obviously full Greek, doesn't know English. I saw this little kid in English, and I said, kid, ask her if she can cook me something, and I pulled out some euros, and I said, just tell her to cook me anything.
Make me food.
And this lady goes, why? Oh, he's hungry? No way. She cooked me chicken with potatoes. You know how they use the oil in Greece, man.
Yeah, it's a good olive oil.
They use that oil in it. She brought me out the chicken. She refused to take the money, man. And this is like, wow, you know what? Complete stranger walking around town.
I mean, I think, but Victor, man, it was so much fun. Thank you so much.
I think next time we're going to have to do my kitchen.
Sounds good, man.